sense of. There's so much relief because the body, there's a lot of dis-ease and discomfort that comes along with the body. Yeah. So when people have an out-of-body experience, they feel, wow, it's just like the same thing with the gravity. You go into an anti-gravity chamber. The body experience is the dominant experience, yeah, here. And when you get relieved, let's say with an out-of-body experience, you're not feeling the body, and there's unbelievable aha there. Yeah. I've had it a number of times, and other people I've seen had it. So there's the engagement as a body comes with a lot of there's a lot of hidden costs, so to speak. Yeah. Like some of them can become obvious, but just the sense of the body can be sort of a drag in a way. When you're out of it, when you have a sense of being out of it, it's like sort of you wouldn't choose this as your vacation spot, the body. Yeah. You really wouldn't. I don't feel. And then you can see a lot of people in life, they become very disassociated from their body, even though because the disassociation from the body has to do with the body. Yeah. So there's got to be that body idea to disassociate from. And so I remember when I got run over, the next few years, my head took flight, really, as much as it could, to be out of the body. So if, like, let's say my left, when I was out there before I got run over, if my right arm was bleeding, I would just look left. And I truly, with just ignoring it, I abused the worst leg from the accident. Yeah. I just paid absolutely no attention to it and its condition. And so there's all these underlying things going on here that you really don't know until you have an experience of the opposite or the absence of. Yeah. Like we talk about the gravity, and the best way to realize the effects of gravity is to go into an anti-gravity chamber. Yes. Because obviously when you go up that steep hill, you think it's the hill. Yeah. When you go up that long, vertical staircase, you blame the staircase, but it's gravity. Yeah. So you're running into like a drag or a current, and we don't even recognize it. But if you have the event of an anti-gravity event, then you'll know gravity. The same thing with the body, and the same thing with this idea of self. Yeah. Every one of us, many, many times over, have had maybe small free samples or even large ones. The system just re-engages so quickly, there's almost a built-in forgetting. Yeah. And therefore, all the pointing that you do is missed. You're missing the real point. Yeah. It's sort of like a lot of people when you're working in recovery, when they first meet you and they're really having a bad situation, and then they describe that situation to you perfectly, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, but that's not the situation, really. There's a huge elephant in the room that you can feel the shadow of it looming over the people, and they're super pointing at everything but the elephant. Yeah. And if you've been under that shadow, you can recognize the shadow overhanging the person. Yeah. So you're listening to them, and the weirdest advice comes out of your mouth, which is, oh no, get alone, go there. Go to an AA meeting or go to a meeting. It makes absolutely no sense if you just took all their pointers. Yeah. to heart, and there would be a lot of fucking things to deal with. But you see, the overriding dilemma or condition is this elephant. Yeah. This is what we're doing here. Yeah. This is why non-duality doesn't really enter the skillful means department. Yeah. It doesn't have it as a future condition that you're going to arrive at, but you're going to start with this present condition. It negates the present condition. Yeah. It doesn't follow your mental pointing, oh, that's doing it, or this is doing it, because it knows the mental state has an incredible misunderstanding and a blind spot. Yeah. So basically, it just goes right to it and negates that. So that which wants to point out the way and what's obstructing you is what gets negated. It's not here to, this process to me is not going to reinforce that pointing from the mental state about what is and what ain't and what's the trouble and what's the obscuring and what's not. It's negating that. Yeah. And when you see it's not you, it's not a part of you, it's not you, there's a loss of interest that happens. It's not personal. It doesn't happen with Mary and then happens with Bill. It's an impersonal loss of interest. Yeah. You lose interest in the personal, literally. Yeah. So it's not like it's because it's you that you're the lucky one to lose interest. It's negating the you and all of the hidden or the obvious conclusions we have about the you. Yeah. Just like there's the conclusion when you describe someone the act of selfing, they always react in one or two ways. Wow, I got it. I've been selfing all day, or the selfing is driving me crazy. Yeah. You see, they can't see it without. They hear the selfing, and then the head has them already in the effect of it. Yeah. And what is that effect? There's a you that's doing it, or there's a you that's being done to it. This is the negation of this message. Yeah. You are not doing the selfing. You are not being done to by the selfing. Yeah. The selfing implies something, and then we start at that point it implies, instead of seeing it before that point. We're looking from the product of the selfing and trying to have an understanding about the selfing, which is the understanding about the selfing. There is no product of the selfing. It's a pointing, and in this case, there's no moon it's pointing at. It's just pointing. It's just pointing in, and it's using the past. It's using the past. This is why in this moment an action is occurring and the head is claiming that action. Yeah. But when the head claims the action, it claims something else. It claims that a historical doership. Yeah. In other words, the doing right now being claimed triggers a historical sense of being the doer. Yeah. So when the head identifies as a doer now, it has a historical feeling behind it. So now you feel like you've been the doer of everything that's ever happened in your freaking life. This is manufactured. Yeah. If you're in a coma, it ain't happening. If you're there, it ain't happening. It only happens. It needs certain conditions, and it just keeps repeating it. Yeah. So it's claiming to be you is I was you, I'm gonna be you, therefore I am you now, really. And how it gets vindicated now is it claims the I am to imply that's Paul. Yeah. So now, as Ramana says, and I don't know what he was meaning, this is how I see it. Yeah. The presupposing of the non-existent thing. What is presupposing it? Do you believe it's you that's presupposing it? I believe it's the mental process is presupposing the non-existent thing To be what? What is it supposing or assuming the non-existent thing to be? An existent thing. Yeah. So the presence of existence gets misunderstood, and now the thing that's appearing is what's existing. Yeah. So now the non-existent thing is an existent thing, and now is looking for salvation as the existent thing. If this is the case, and he said basically this is the case, the spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing. How can they destroy it? It's as simple as that. This is why I don't believe Ramana put out much spiritual practices. He went with self-inquiry because that was the only way to get before the practices. The practices would already be infected by the first statement, which is the presupposing of the non-existent thing being an existent thing. We start looking at spiritual practices from that idea that we're an existent thing. Yeah. And therefore, when that's the case, the spiritual practices themselves being practiced by the non-existent thing, assumed to be an existent thing, are reinforcing what? The non-existent thing being an existent thing. Yeah. Which is the opposite of what we believe we're looking for. Yeah. We're trying to get out of the non-existent thing as the non-existent thing. How easy is it to get out of a non-existent thing? Very easy. It doesn't exist. So that's why when I saw that guy, Uncle Fred, who I knew in life, and I always thought without understanding it that Uncle Fred was the body. When I saw the body of Uncle Fred not enlivened by the I am, it was obvious that wasn't Uncle Fred. Now, in hindsight, I can say why I saw Uncle Fred as a body, because this condition was seeing itself as a body. Yeah. The existence that was fueling the mental state fell into a great misunderstanding. It took the I am, the existence of all existences, to be a body that was self-existing, an independent, separate, long-lasting island unto itself. Yeah. And every time it tries to swim away from the island, it swims away from the island as the island. Yeah. So when you transcend, you'll find yourself there. That's what's going to make you want to transcend more, because you'll never seem to get rid of what you'd like to be free from. It has us handcuffed. We're trying to be free as the non-existent thing, instead of free from the non-existent thing. And the free from the non-existent thing is inherently available. It's not produced. It's not arrived at. It already is. See, this is the trick. It already is. Yeah. You mean you don't have to do anything? Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Will I be doing things? Yes, for sure. Because the role here is an action figure. It's the figure is preceded by action. So the figure and action go hand in hand in this experience. Yeah. But the action figure, which is like a hammer that sees everything as a nail, the action figure sees everything as I'm going to have to do something to get there, or I'm going to have to do something to leave there. You can't apply that logic to what you are. Because you can't leave and you can't arrive. You cannot leave where and what you are, and you cannot arrive where or what you are, which is the whole basis, the whole logic. It's like got two gears. Yeah. It tries to get out of something. It tries to get into something. That's what it's doing all day. Yeah. It doesn't have a fifth or eighth gear. It's just trying to get out and trying to get in. Outer in doesn't work when it comes to what we are. Yeah. Doesn't work. Yeah. That's why it's not working. Yeah. You can't arrive at where you already are. This is the dilemma. Do you believe that all of us would have failed so miserably? Because some of these people in this Zoom were much more earnest, much more committed, much more dedicated, much more graced. They were old souls. It should have been fucking easy to get out of here by now. Yeah. And yet they have 200 years of 50 years of practice, and then times 30, 40 people here is a lot of time. Yeah. It's not about time. Yeah. If timelessness is a condition, would it be in every moment of time? Yes. It's the basis, it's the space that where time can be entertained. The timelessness allows the idea of time to be entertained. Every freaking moment is no moment. It's always here, always now. Now, we don't see it, just like probably the fish doesn't see the water. Yeah. Though it's in it constantly, it lives there, probably has no idea. It probably knows more about the seaweed than the other fish than it's ever going to know about the water. Yeah. Fucking have no understanding, is not going to school, studying water, nothing. Yet it's the basis of its whole existence. Yeah. Here we are. Trying to know the unknowable, trying to follow an ancient description of the undescribable, trying to comprehend the incomprehensible. Yeah. Why? Do you think there's a stairway of comprehension that leads to the incomprehensible? It doesn't work that way. That's duality completely. Yeah. You believe I'm going to have to comprehend the incomprehensible. You probably will, but not the way you think. The trying to comprehend is going to fail you. And after failing you many, many times, it's going to finally work for you, which is you're going to get that it's failed. Its point was never to succeed. Its true point was to fail. So we're huge successes because there's been so much failure. Yeah. And all you need is an understanding to see it in a different light. It's a hallelujah, really. Yeah. You can call off the hunt. Yeah. Yeah. What is it? The seeker is the sought, the hunted is the hunter. Yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, it doesn't work. You're here 500, I don't know how many years here. The only ones we can really rely on is like ancient ones that seemingly have passed away. Yeah. I think it would be easier than that, don't you think? It would be super hard to try to get out of an imaginary place. I agree with you there. But I think it's quite easy to give up wanting to get out of an imaginary place because you've seen it as imaginary, yes? And you've seen you as imaginary. Now, that thing you've seen as imaginary does not see itself as imaginary. You're not going to get that look from it. You're going to see it. You're not going to get the look from it. You're not going to, it's not going to be there to experience its own absence. It's not. Yeah. Yet there is not going to be an observer of the event. Remember that old thing with in the 60s, The revolution will not be televised. Yes, yes. It's sort of like that. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not going to look any way you ever thought. But the seeing is how your head thinks it was going to look. It ain't going to be that. But the seeing is, the awareness is, yeah. And then you'll get a sense. The closest sense you can have of something that doesn't come and go is right where you are. Yeah. I mean, there was an awareness of my worst day, just as there was an awareness of my best day. It doesn't seem to be discriminating about what I think is best and bad, you know? It's just on. I don't believe light wants to have things appear in it. It just sees what's appearing in it. Yeah. So, yeah. All right, Mike. Release the Krakens.
Krakens is open. Floyd has his hand up. Floyd.
I can't hear you, Mike. You got bad.
No?
Now I can, yes.
Okay. Well, Floyd's up. Hi, Floyd.
Floyd.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Paul.
Hey.
Yeah, so there's this sort of understanding that maybe I'm already where I am, like where I'm supposed to be, or there's nowhere to go and stuff like that. But why is it that when we get into situations with people, there is this triggering of all the old shit, that comes up, and then
Oh, bro, Floyd, let me jump in. When you're in a situation with people, you can go. You just were talking about there was nowhere to go. You can go when you're in an uncomfortable situation with people. Can't you?
yeah, you can go where?
Well, I'm not talking about where. You just said you can't go, but you can go. In the world of appearances, you can leave. You can.
Of course.
What we
Of
are,
course.
you cannot leave, but in the world of appearances, you can leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to take it, if in a sense,
Yeah.
unless you have to take it. Like if I have someone's, sharing the same jail cell as I'm in, you've got to fucking accommodate the situation. Probably if they're bigger than you, they're gonna get the bottom bunk, something.
Yeah.
Yes, just you're gonna. There's not much room to move, but in a lot of cases here, appearances come and go. Yes,
Yeah.
a lot.
But I'm in a sort of conundrum here because there are situations which I want, I want maybe company or I want a relationship. And then
That's
when I
another
get
thing.
into,
Well,
then if I get into
Floyd,
it, I'm like,
Floyd,
I don't
Floyd,
want
let
it.
me jump in there because, okay, I understand that you may want a situation. We're not about that. What we're about is asking who is it that wants the situation? Yeah, truly. I mean, this is what used to happen when I went to satsangs. A person would share, the person who was up there, and you could feel a nice energy in the room. And then they'd open up the questions, and the first person would start talking about relationships. And then the horses were out of the barn, and you could feel the energy change. We're not about any of that. We're talking about who is it that feels like it wants something. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's an invalid want or a valid want, but the point of this topic here is to question or negate the thing that's always implied to be before all these wants and dislikes and likes, yeah? Because there's a singularity that's imagined to be, and that singularity, it has a lot to do with the meaning given to whatever comes after it. So this is the point. We want to go there. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like Ramana said, one of my favorite little things out of a booklet was, once again, he was the question of, is there free will or is there predetermination, or is there free will in predetermination? And I'm sure everyone was ready to start debating. And he said, listen, yeah, if there's a sense of individuality, individuality does not verify that there's an individual. There is no individual, but there's a sense of individuality. Yes. Yeah. He says, if there's a sense of individuality, then there's also going to be a sense of free will. Everyone was sitting in that place, very interested probably to get into the debate or the topic of free will, but basically every one of them was bringing in this sense of individuality. Yes? So the looking at the free will of predetermination was a way of the head hiding or verifying the sense of individuality. Because what was claiming the interest or claiming to be the one who wants to know about the free will of predetermination was the sense of individuality. So he said, listen, all of these questions have no value except for triggering to look at what's before it. And so right now, Floyd, you're going to be part of the example. Yes? Yeah. This is the topic, and it's so beautiful because this isn't like 800,000 people. It's a small little group, and we can stay on topic. Yeah, and the topic is not the what and the wherewithal and the this and the that. It's just the sense of individuality. Yeah, that sense of individuality. Is it true evidence for an individual, or is it manufactured?
Yeah.
It's manufactured. A sense can be manufactured. Yeah. A sense of individuality can be manufactured. And then the head then we do the rest. There's a taking something that isn't so to be so. And if that's not questioned, you're going to have millions of questions. And if you got millions of answers, it still wouldn't be enough because you're still not getting to the point. Yeah. The point isn't the answer that comes to the questioner. It's to get to question the questioner. Yeah. To stop that movement and just sit there and see if something is so or not so. You have the eyes to see. You have the ears to hear. We're all awake. We're all awake already. It's demonstrating. I mean, obviously, do you have to go to seeing classes, feeling classes, hearing classes? No. Are you sweating because you've had a day of a lot of seeing today? I've heard so many notes. I'm fucking sweating. Can't you see my ears are almost bleeding? No. This conscious contact that we are in with no fucking effort on our own does not demonstrate any thought or effort. Why would you believe thought and effort would bring you to that which demonstrates no thought or effort? That's insane. That's an insane logic. Yeah. I'm going to have to work to get to a point where there's no work at all. I'm not a believer in that when it comes to this situation. This isn't about, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to retire into the one condition that, no, it's not that way. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. There is a condition that wants to get into all these other conditions to hide its absence of being a real condition. It does. It gets the feeling from all the other shit. Yeah. It can't generate its own onness. So it claims everything. The mental state claims the verbing and states itself as a noun. And now the noun is before all the verbs. And then we have a language, and it's a language of subject object. It's a language of noun and verb, when in fact, if you had a language and it was actually correctly directed, it would be verb and noun, really. It wouldn't start with verb. The verb would question of the noun now is questioning all the items of the verbs. Yeah. So we have a lovely situation here. Yeah, I swear, I went to these satsangs, and every time there would be questions. Oh, every time I went to see this one person, the energy of the room would change. The first question would be about relationships, and every fucking question after was about relationships, which seems to be of a two-ness when the primary point was of noneness. Yeah. Yeah, this is what happens. The banner says non-duality, but it turns into a fucking circus. This is not therapy. This is not getting a date. I want you to get a date. I hope you can feel a sense of community and belonging. That's all great, but this is not the point of these talks. It isn't. They're byproducts, and that's great. But man, it's so easy to miss this point and make other fucking shit the point. It is. I've watched it over and over again. Yeah. Yeah. When I used to see people had followers underneath the banner of non-duality, and they'd have intensives every week. And one time they sent me a newsletter, and they had it's sort of like, you know, when they build cars, they got to come up with fucking names for the color. So Sonic Blue or whatever. Yeah, all this shit. They can't just say blue because they have to make it. So here was this newsletter, $150 intensive this weekend. How to integrate your awakening into everyday life. This is not what this is about. This is not the freaking point here. I do not believe you are going to integrate what you are, what you're not going to integrate what you are into the life of what you're not. I just don't see it. Yeah. What happens when that doesn't get addressed? More fucking intensives. Maybe instead of that's the topic for a one-day intensive, they get so many people. Now it's a week-long retreat. How to integrate we're very special awakening into everyday life. Give me a freaking break.
I think that's been my struggle, because I feel like people will, there's sort of this thing that, oh, okay, I've done so much spirituality, blah, 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 and now it's not working, because when I go into a situation, but I think you've described it right, that this is what you're not. So why to, sort of give so much weight to what you're not?
Yes, please. I mean, it gets enough weight. It gets so much weight. A little bit of weight. The scale is so tipped. It needs an adjustment, and it can't do it. This is the dilemma when that which is implied is already been taken to be so. You're starting from the implied product. How are you going to get out of it as it? We have the same dilemma in recovery. Self can't get out of self. Yeah. So you got to go before it. You're not going to get out of it after it. See, when the impliedness of the claiming has taken to be so, then you're just trying to get out of it after it. It's not going to work. But if you can see before, there's relief there. There's no in and out. Your relief isn't based on, I'm going to get out of it. You see, you've never been in it.
Yes.
Yes. This is a whole different, how you get to the relief is completely different. Completely different. You don't get to the relief. When the relief dawns on this message, it has a sense it's always been this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The head works super hard to you to believe its conditions are always going to be this way. It has to
Yeah.
work overtime, day in and day out, to try to fool you into that. When you have a recognition, one of the parts of it may be it's always been this way. What a fucking beautiful hit. And there's no advertising, there's no commercials to support it. It's the truth. It tells you about the truth. Yeah. The head can tell you about the truth, but it's not fucking truthful. When you hit the truth, it has a power. It can absolve a lot of imaginary shit in a nanosecond. Yes. You don't have to derobe the emperor. You see the emperor has no clothes. You don't have to go through the act of taking the clothes off. You've seen it naked already. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was a very strong holding to this image of being spiritual or some kind of ego of having worked on myself and now I have to be something outside. Yeah, and that is sort of, yeah, a relief to see that that's.
Yes, it's great relief, Floyd, because what's making the ideas of how you should be or how it should look is the problem. Yeah. Yeah. When it's going to describe how you should be by the time you have done so much work, you should be having no problems about it. It's all bullshit. Yeah. Your condition is the space of problems, solutions, agitation, calm, peace, everything. Everything that's nothing can appear in the sky that we are. They're all finite. They're all coming and inevitably gonna go. And in that sense, they almost feel like they've not even really been here because they come and go, come and go, and come and go. And then you just get weaned off of this whole fucking thing we've been fed. Yes. Yeah. You may end up living in Novato, California. And when you say Novato, everyone thinks it's Nevada, I said, but it's Novato, Novato. Yeah. I didn't know you lived in Nevada. I don't live in Nevada. It's Novato. This is what. Do you believe truly, without knowing it, completely blind, you're going to arrive somewhere, some mystical, ecstatic state? Something new, way better than that. You're already it. This is like I just got in a new car. It's newish. I haven't been in a newer car my whole life. This car basically runs the windshield wipers, runs the brake, pretty much runs everything. You have the symbolic position of being the driver, but the machine itself doesn't trust you one fucking bit. It's constantly jumping in and taking over. Do you believe this, with this compass and this ship, that you're going to transcend and go somewhere? You can't even remember we changed the Wednesday meeting to 2:00 instead of 1:00. How are you going to know the infinite from the finite? Give me a break. This is so beautiful. You're it already. Your work is just an expression, just symbolic. You're it. Yeah. Then you appear as a knucklehead. Yeah. Am I going to become a much clearer knucklehead? You'll be clearer about the not being the knucklehead, but knuckleheadness may continue for sure. Yeah. Yeah. What does that mean? It doesn't mean shit. It's just the way things go here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think Ramana talks about it a lot in some respects, and people, I remember reading one thing, and when Ramana was very ill, sometimes his body cried out, and people took him to be the body, and they were surprised that the great master was screaming
Yeah.
at pain. Give me a fucking break. Jesus Christ.
Mm.
I'm sure Jesus farted and, fucking other people. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure they weren't always happy-go-lucky every second of the day. I would have probably gotten pissed off at Judas way before the last dinner. Yeah, he
Mm.
probably he likes some others better than others. It's just the way he goes, you know.
Yeah. True.
I'm sure Huang Po liked tamari on his fucking fried rice. Yeah, and he got
Mm.
upset when there wasn't enough tamari at the table. I'm sure.
Mm.
I mean, why? Because he liked tamari on the fried rice. No mystical, profound thing. You're not it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh man. The worst intention you can have for the body is to think you're a saint.
Yeah.
There was a great movie. It was a German. Do you mind? I'm not speaking only to Floyd, obviously. I left Floyd a long time ago. Yeah. There was a movie. What was the name of it? It was German. And it starts out in Tibet, and there's a temple, and they're going to a cave where one of the monks has been in there for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, and 2 hours or something. And so these young monks, he's like Mickey Mantle or fucking Michael Jordan, this guy, and they go into the cave, and there he is, and his hair and everything, his nails and everything. And they take him in and they bring him back to the temple. And this one younger monk has the great privilege to share the room with this guy. His first day away from this incredible and enlightened trance. And there they are sleeping. And so the young monk wakes up and he looks at the old guy in the bed, and there's a what do they call that? A tent in the blanket. The 2 year, 2 months has a boner. He's having like a wet dream. Totally bums out the young monk. Fucking blows his whole idea of the other dude. Yeah. I thought it was perfect. It was such a perfect beginning of a movie. It really was. Even after 2 years, two months, 2 days, and 2 hours, I'm still gonna have a boner occasionally. Yes, probably. Oh, there goes another concept. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. If you already are what you're looking for, then what appears can look any way it wants. Yes. Its appearance isn't to arrive somewhere. It's an expression of where it is, which could be an infinite expression. You could have super saints. You just probably ran into their shoulder at 7-Eleven buying like Pringles. Yeah. Because he likes Pringles. Yeah. All right. Anyone else, Mike?
Yes, Rye. Hi, Rye.
Hey there, can you hear me?
All right.
Hey there, Paul. This is my first time showing face. I've
Oh,
been
yes.
lurking for a couple months. I'm actually from Queens.
On out. Come out into the
Yep,
light.
I'm here in the light. Yep. I'm actually from Queens, by the way. Just
Oh,
probably
Queens.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
where
yeah,
in
yeah.
Queens?
Jamaica, Queens,
Oh,
close to St.
Jamaica.
John's.
Yeah.
Yeah, St. John's
Upper
University
Rockville
area.
Center,
Yeah,
Nassau.
yeah. Yeah, it's like 20 minutes away by car, I think. But
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah, yeah.
it's millions of miles away.
Right, right, right.
Jamaica's a trip.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I
I
grew up
haven't been
here.
there so long. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what can we do for you, Rye?
Well, I just wanted a clarification.
I hope so.
So I've been watching your talks for a couple months, and the past year for me has been this exercise in me trying to know me.
Yes.
And so what it's been doing, which admittedly has kind of led to a sort of loosening up of some stuff, has been trying to kind of get the big picture of what's been going on with me, some kind of a big relative truth. So, one relative truth if I could share is
Yeah.
just something that I call the loser machine. And it's essentially a machine that's fed by my fear of loss. And it kind of keeps me in this perpetual place of being a sore loser because I couldn't accept the losses in my life, whether it was losing a game when I was a kid, all the way to losing relationships and friends and losing myself to drugs or whatever, losing opportunities and money. And I feel like finally at some point I got the loser machine. I found it. Wow, this has been fucking me up my whole life for 20 years. And yet there's this feeling that that's nice. It's nice to get a hold of one of the big stories that's been the denial of which has been creating so much problems in my life. And yet, listening to your message, I feel like I'm creeping up to this edge, this edge that has actually nothing to do with the story of my life or finding the big picture of anything. So my clarification is the me trying to get to know me kind of like making amends? Because that's kind of like what it's felt like, you know?
Well, yeah, sometimes we would see it in, let's say the gig is up and you get into recovery. Yeah. So you've had a run of flamboyant, at least in your own mind, of badness and shit. And basically the gig is up. Yeah. It's come to an end somewhat. And so now it has to change its costume and start becoming good. Yeah. And so basically, uh, they'll feed you with, let's say, better material. Yeah. And you'll feel now you'll be on the path of discovery where it can express an addiction also, the original addiction, which is to you, Rye, or Paul, as a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. So the bad fucking days are over. It's gonna now, its movement is going to move towards higher ground and stuff like that. Yes. And you'll have a lot of wins. You'll come down to the root of some problems that seem to be deep mental grooves or emotional grooves. Yes. But still, there'll be always you there, exulting in the recognition. And then what we would call spiritual pride somehow shows up, and you're more interested in people thinking you have super clear eyes than anything else or something like that. Yes. So the identification, it's sort of like the same dimensions of the store, but before it was like an athletic store, and now it's a market. Yeah. But it's the same store. Yeah, yeah. And the sense of self is striving in both stores in a way. And so this is why this message can scare that sense of self, because the sense of self loves to become and unbecome shit. Yeah. It doesn't like the idea of being. That's scary. Yeah. But if it can always claim and manipulate any unbecoming and becoming. So it will sign up for a 1,000-year journey to become a better Paul, so to speak. Yeah. But to realize there is no Paul now, it's not quite interested in that. Yeah. Yes. So yeah. But even if its intentions are weird, the results here are good. So that's how it goes. Yeah. So I saw a lot of the stuff, and yet it trying to get better is cool in a lot of ways. I just see that I'm not that which is trying to get better. Yeah. 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 So the action figure life gets bigger when it's going in a different direction, for sure. Yeah. And so even though it wants to use the shit the same way it was using the other shit, something else is involved now, and you're in a sense getting better as the action figure, not getting bigger and larger as the action figure, but better in a way. Yeah. And then you find, like, I find there's a certain ceiling in the action figure sitting here, which can be expressed by gratitude, honoring, empathy, uh, an availability to be of service. These are very high levels for an action figure. Yeah. Now, the action figure didn't bring those about. Life has, and it has begrudgingly fit itself around those things. Yeah. So I think that's great. Yeah. This isn't about starving the action figure. The action figure is going to do a whole lot better. It will grow in a different way when it's not saddled with the idea of you. Yeah. Yeah. And it's the you that's afraid to go to that edge. Yeah. The body can thrive when it falls off that edge. Yeah. It's the idea of you that doesn't want to go there. And thank God it's not you. Yeah. So there you go. See, before, when you was you, it not wanting to go there was going to be pretty much the main directive. Yes. But now you can see the emperor with no clothes. I really don't want to do this. And there's a doing of it. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's now getting subjugated. Yeah. Yeah. Back to a different position in the corporate head. It's not in the committee room. It's in the mail room now. Yeah. Been assigned to where it can work. Yeah. So I see that way, right? Yeah. And if you are someone like me from Long Island, you probably need some help, the action figure. It does. So yeah, the action figure, we're from the world of broken toys there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Some structure.
you just saying Jamaica, I feel empathy for you, and I want to be. I do. It's bringing out the compassion in me. It's not far from where I grew up. Yeah, right. Just stay with us if you like. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Hmm. Oh, William Stamps? All right.
Oh,
I didn't. Hi, William. Here we are. Yeah.
Yes, I just had this question lingering around for some time on and off. But today, during the talk, it kind of, in a sense, resolved itself, but I'm still going to ask it anyway. Of all the places in the universe, why are we here? Why did we choose this place out of billions and billions of other either universes or conditions?
Yeah.
Why do we choose this?
I'm gonna put aside you're asking this question because I really like you, and I'm gonna just let it go into the ethers. Yeah. The why doesn't go anywhere. Yes.
I thought that's what you might say, and that's what's coming to me about it. But I just want to also add that I'm from Woodside, Queens, so I'm very close to this.
Jesus Christ. That's why it's Woodside, Jamaica. That's like the Bermuda Triangle.
Neighbors, you know.
Woodside, Jamaica, and Rockville Center. A lot of fucking souls have been sucked into there. Woodside. Wow. Hey, William, we've made it this far. You gotta give yourself some credit. Yeah.
It's been a long trek for me, unfortunately, but I won't go into my personal issue, but I'm in a lot of pain, mostly I'm doing. And,
Well, I'm happy. I hope coming here brings a little bit of relief.
yes,
And now I know you're a homeboy, so I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
my eye out for you. Yeah. Seriously. I have an allegiance to Queens and Nassau, even
Oh.
Suffolk, but mostly Queens and
Wait,
Nassau.
going back to my question though, I mean, why is it so evaded? I mean, I don't understand. Is it too complex or it's not answerable or is that it?
Oh, yeah, because it's, if you keep feeding that which is asking that type of question, you're doing the situation a disservice.
What
You're doing the situation a disservice.
situation?
The situation of us, you're
Oh.
feeding this imaginary mouth,
I see.
and it's never going to be fulfilled. It's like the hungry ghost in the old Tibetan view with the
Goes
huge
back,
belly and the small mouth. Yeah,
goes
yeah.
back to starting with you already are there, so it's no sense,
Exactly. So these whys are yeah. You first of all, you didn't have it, William, the question. It doesn't come from you. And the answer isn't concerning you. It comes from someplace in your head, and it's best not to feed that right now. Have you ever seen that thing that always asks us questions that it ever gets fulfilled by any answer? No. It's just an act of questioning. So, yeah.
I can apply what
Question that, actually. Just
earlier
question that. What is it that would like to know that? Because
That's-
it's not you. So
said.
that's
Wants to know that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same format that we just were speaking about. I can apply that with this question also.
exactly. That's the point, is to see who is it that's asking
That's
this, because it's gonna, what happens if that which is asking keeps getting answers, it's going to fill up its need to seem to be relevant or existing when it ain't. So this is why you want to starve it.
I understand very well.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have the platform to do it. We're not, this isn't a giant, we have a an assumed point, and we stay close to it. Yeah, this is the point. Yeah, because listen, the claiming of what's happening by the head is a very quick process, very, very quick. Yeah. And in the process, it also implies it's a historical fact. So this process, in my observing life, I've seen that which comes after can have absolutely no effect on that which is before. Yeah. But that which is before can have a huge effect on that which comes after. So in time and a process, whatever process is of time. Yeah. The word process has a big flavor of time in it. Yeah. So this process seems to be the fastest one I've ever run into. And it took me a long time to figure out I ran into it, because it was so fast, it had me starting at its conclusion. Yeah. So there was no ability to question it, because I would question it as its product. Yeah. Do you see? I was at the product point of the line, and that would be the product questioning the process. That's not how that is how it works, and that doesn't work for us. Yeah. So you immediately only have a few options. I'm going to try to get out of this shit. But the thing is, I'm going to try to get out of this shit as this shit. Yeah. Because I believe I'm truly different than the shit I'm in. You're not. Yeah. You're a product of this activity. Okay. So this product of the activity is very fast. And one of its effects is what comes after it gets more influenced by the before than it can produce in the process. Yes. So basically, whatever processes is going to be used to reinforce the first process. This is what we just described with the presupposing of the non-existent thing being existing, and then at that point, that thing that's not existing wanting to get salvation for itself as the existent thing is going to create the secondary process of spiritual practices and neuter the whole possibility of the spiritual practices. And now they're going to be reinforcing the first process when we believe they're attempting to change or alter or transcend the first process. They're actually a link in the first process, and so on and so forth. So every process to try to combat the effects of the first process just reinforce the first process. This is my humble recognition here. So truly, this is what put an end to a lot of shit, because I realized there's no way I'm going to get out of this as this. It's no fucking way. I'm starting at the after and I'm being called the before. And that's why with the idea that I'm the before, I get super frustrated because I'm not. I'm the after. So if I'm the before, I should be able to, if I'm the thinker, I should, be able to herd the thoughts. I could teach them where I want them to go and what they're about. And it seems like a clear assumption because I'm before it all. If I'm the doer of shit, I should be able to stop doing a lot of shit. Yeah, it seems it anoints me with some power I don't have because I'm not the before. I am not the doer. I am not the thinker. I am not the feeler. This is why you get bushwhacked by feelings, because you're not the feeler. You're just another feeling arising. You're just another thought that arises saying, I'm the thinker of all the other thoughts. You're not. Yeah, you're just a thought, just like everything else. And I haven't seen one thought fight another thought and the other thought get killed. I don't. I see one thought goes with another thought and they couple like rabbits, and there's tons of thoughts. Yeah, I don't see any vanquishing of a thought by a thought. I see a thought leads to a lot of thoughts. Yes? Yes, this is what I see.
Hear
So
you.
I was confronted with a situation. There is something that's happening. I would say it's a mental process, and it happens in time. And there's a very quick claiming of whatever's going on to imply it's going on to me, or it's done by me, or it's doing on me. Yeah. And the me is manufactured like everything else, but it's been vested in incredible power it doesn't have. I should lord over everything that comes after me because I'm the before. I beg to differ. You're the after. That's why you're fucking confused. Because life isn't treating you as the before. It's treating you like the after. And no one's listening to you. No one's doing what you want unless you can give them a lot of drugs or money or whatever. No one's fucking listening. Could care less about how you want it to be. Yeah. You argue with reality, you lose every freaking time because you're after it. You're an idea who thinks it's having all these other ideas. You're just an idea, a manufacturing, a machination of the head, yeah, as an appearance. As the existence, you're something. But that's the story of the before. Let the before tell you its story instead of trying to tell a story about the before. Just fucking lose interest in this which is after, and then the before will tell you stuff. it will listen. It's your own ear. It's going to whisper in. It's you. You're it. Yeah. But the process, I do not believe a process can beat this process. I don't. I don't think it's like a gunslinger that hasn't lost. It always wins in a gunslinging in time, but it never wins when it's confronted with the before, because the before has its gun out all the time. It cannot be outdrawn by a fucking process. It can't. Time cannot get before the timeless. Time cannot get before the timeless. And we are of the timeless. We are of before. But we have been manufactured to take ourselves to be after, with all the symbolic emphasis of the before, but none of the fucking power. This is what we run into in AA. You realize your life is unmanageable because you've been trying to manage it. You don't have the power that you think you have. Yeah. Though you are the power that you can never think about. You can't capture what you are with thought. This is my humble understanding. I felt it was verified by reading other people. I mean, completely verified in my own thing, and here I am. We are a card salesman. We only sell card. Yeah, you can grill it, sushi it, whatever. I don't care. But you're going to get cod here. COD. That's it. That's all I got. You know, you can paint, fucking legs on a snake or fucking lipstick on a pig, but that's it. Yeah. And this is how I see it. I think you're not going to get out of time through time. I just don't see it. I do not see it. Yeah. I hope if I'm missing it, I hope something crashes through the ceiling and reveals itself to me. But I humbly believe that we are from before time, and and then the head is taking ourselves to be something after time, in time, but as the before. And it just doesn't work. Yeah. Don't you know when a shoe doesn't fit as soon as you put it on? The 80 other fucking times gets to be fucking abusive, doesn't it? You realize that, you're a 10. You're trying to put on an 8. It ain't going to happen. Yes? So let's just save ourselves some fucking time. Yeah. Go ahead. Have you tried it already? You tried to get out of view and you're still here. Oh, the 60s, I was out of it, but it's not the 60s now. Oh, the ayahuasca, but you're not going to ayahuasca every day in Novato, California. Oh, I'm going to microdose or whatever. Come on. You can't. This ain't going to get it. It ain't going to get it. It can't. It's impossible. It can't get it. Yeah. Yeah. That's the great news. So, hey. All right. I must love beating a dead horse, because I swear, I got some sadistic joy out of it. Just beat the fucking dead horse. See, if the horse you were riding is seen as a dead horse, it becomes like a piñata. It's great. The dead horse gives you a lot of fucking information that you weren't getting when you thought it was alive. Seriously. When you see it's dead, it's a wealth of fucking knowledge. It is. It's a wealth of knowledge. Just keep banging that piñata. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Mike, I think we're going to close shop. Eh?
Okay, no other hands.
Great. Rye. I got my homeboys now. Rye and William. Jeez. All right. And we have John, maybe John Luna. He was from the Bronx. Wow.
And PK.
PK from Long Island City. They're doing missionary work now. We've set them off into Suffolk County. Spread the news. All right. David, nice to see you down under, bro. Miak. She has a generous heart, the heart of a lioness. Miak. Yes. We got, oh, there's Smitty. We like to call her Kathleen. She's in Florida somewhere. Nice to see you, honey. We got Eric P. Yeah. Nice to see Eric as well. We have Sherry with a guest, someone.
Daughter to Carly. Hi.
Your daughter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, cool. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, it's very, thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. You see, yeah. Kenneth, as always, Vancouver. Yep. Alfonso. You're down in Colombia, eh?
Yes, Bogota, Colombia.
Ah, Bogota. Great.
Right.
Great. Shannon Corkery. You're first in line, Shannon. When we're gonna do that Greek film thing. Yeah, the women jumping off the cliff. We promise we're gonna catch you, Shannon. You'll have to trust us. Yeah. David B. Yeah. Lindy. John K. Frank G. A.O. That's Alan Olson. Susan H. James Olson. Oh, his brother. Wow. Bobby J. Have we met Bobby before?
Yeah, hey, Paul. Yeah, I'm the guy from Connecticut where
Oh yeah, we
Terry went
saw
to
you at
Rolls Royce.
we saw you with Lud.
Yeah, at Led's place.
Yeah,
That's so
great
freaking
to see
wild.
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
man, thanks.
Nice to see you.
Hey, likewise.
Yeah. Julius. Byron Bay. Whoa. Bill Churchman. Floyd De Silva, Mike G. Let me get others here. We've got Hamid. Oh, Maria. I saw Hamid before. We were gonna sing thank you for him. Tell him he missed out, I guess. Tofa, you okay, Maria? All's well? Great. Topher, nice to see you, my friend. Susanna W. A long thing of numbers. James O. Bobby, I think that's it. Hey, thank you so much for another night in the asylum. Yes.
Thank you, Paul.
Anyone's still awake, there's Jello. Jello's going to be served.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably
wow.
put the pill you need in the Jello.
Amelia, where is she?
Amelia.
Amelia, hello.
Thank you, Paul.
All right.
you.
see
Thank you, brother.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you for an awesome meeting again.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
great
sweet.
meeting.
Badass.
Yeah,
Like,
amazing.
Total badass.
See y'all.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Sherry,
Thanks, Mike.
daughter, beautiful.
You-
Oh, wow.
Thanks, Mike.
Kathleen, how's your trip?